Hi BookTube, my name is Danica and these are my bookshelves. I know you can't see a lot of them, but everything on this side of me is unread, and about half of what's on this side of me is also unread. I also have a little bookshelf over there, which is about half unread, and the bookshelf I usually film in front of, which is also about half unread. Altogether, I own about 600 books, and almost 400 of them are unread. Which brings me to the point of this video. I don't feel guilty about my unread books. I've been watching a lot of booktube videos about TBR guilt, and obviously everyone handles their book collections differently. I just wanted to talk about some of the unstated assumptions about unread books on booktube. Why do we feel guilty about unread books? It's not just owning a lot of books, because plenty of people on booktube seem to be absolutely happy about keeping every single book they've ever read, so long as their TBR pile is small. There's this idea that owned books are meant to be read, or more specifically, they are meant to have been read. Past tense. Why is that? Because for me, I feel way more guilty about the books I have read and own, which means I cull them pretty frequently. When I own a book that I've already read, I think, why am I keeping this? Am I ever going to reread it? Couldn't someone else be enjoying this book? I've already gotten use out of it. I already know what happens in that book. The knowledge is already in my head. I keep my favorite books, but I feel guilty about them. They feel like an indulgence to hold on to. My unread books, on the other hand, they're full of possibility. They're patiently waiting for me to pick them up. I liked one quote I read that talked about a person who had a personal library of thousands of books, and when someone visited him and said, "Well, have you read all of these books?" he said, "Of course not. This is a working library." And really, what's the point of a library where all the books have already been read? A lot of people talk about wanting their library to reflect the books that they've already read so they can talk about them. And that's one of the differences, I think. A read library is a trophy library. It's a display of stories that you have already conquered. It seems to me like you've already stuffed and mounted that story. It's not really a book to be read anymore. The story disappears. It's just an object. They're no longer books to be read, they're books to be seen. An unread library, on the other hand, is a library to be used. It's meant to be changed. It's meant to have books removed as you read them or as you get rid of them, and more books added, rearranged. It's constantly changing. After watching TBR guilt videos, I often feel the need to come over to my to-be-read books and weed out the books I'm not interested in. It's like the guilt kind of temporarily rubs off on me. And then I go over to my shelves and think, well, not that book. I loved the book that I read by her before. I definitely want to read all of her other books. And, well, no, not that book. I still love the premise of that book. Or, I was so excited when I first got that book, and just seeing the book again makes me excited again. Then I realized that I do still want to read almost all of the books that I own. I do want to go through and get rid of a handful that I don't really remember, but most of them I'm still excited about, even if it's been 5 years since I acquired it. I don't want my bookshelves to become a trophy case. I want them to be books that I'm eager to devour, to discover what's inside of them, or at the very least books that I am excited about returning to. Personally, I also have a different relationship to my TBR because I kind of have obscure tastes in books. If I lost my lesbian book collection, it would be very difficult, maybe impossible, to get it together again. I also have changed my book buying habits in the last couple of years, so I only buy books that I can't get through the library, or books that I already know I'm going to love because I've read books by the author before or something. So a lot of my books are fairly difficult to get a hold of and often out of print. I do want to throw out a disclaimer at the end of this video that there's no wrong way to read and there's no wrong way to keep a library. Not actually judging you on what your ideal library looks like. I just want to challenge some of the assumptions that we have on BookTube. I just don't think that TBR pals deserve the hate that they get. Those are what books are. They're books waiting to be read. That's what I love about books. Books I am most excited about are the books that I am reading, or the books I'm just about to read. The books I've already read, they're in the past. I would love to see your comments about this topic, especially if you want to make a response video. Even if you disagree completely with me, I would still love to see it. And thank you for watching. Bye!